chapter number 3. It's a very long chapter. I guess we will have to take 2 sessions for this chapter, right? We won't be able to finish it from one session. Most probably we will be going with 2 sessions, right? So page number 14. Mali said one morning, I have an idea. Jagan felt slightly nervous and asked, what may it be? Now, when on one morning, Mali had said, Father, I have an idea. So when he heard this for the first time itself, he was like very nervous. So what do you understand is the father is like, he is even not sure. Jagan himself is even not sure that what kind of a message that his son is going to convey him. Suppose if it was a bad message, even I would have to nod my head and agree to it and let him do that, because that's Jagan's way. He never forced Mali not to do this, not to do that. Always he's trying to pamper Mali, right? So this word of Mali is trying to bring a certain nervous to Jagan, and at the same time he's little eagerly waiting to listen what his son is going to say. The boy paused while swallowing his breakfast. I can't study anymore. So directly he said, I can't study anymore. Right? So the father was aghast. So he was shocked. Has anyone had been rude to you in the college? Now father is like, suddenly, why all of a sudden he thought to say that he doesn't want to go to the school college. So aghast means he's like filled with some kind of horror, surprised. So he suddenly asked, like, usually school children, when they say can't go to school, what parents ask, is somebody hitting you? Is someone disturbing you? Is someone taking a things like that? We ask the question. So Jagan is thinking Mali as a boy still. He doesn't see that his son is grown into a young teen. Still, he's asking, is your friends disturbing to you? Are they rude to you? So for young boys, if they were rude, they don't behave like this. They can react for that. They are grown up. So Mali says, let them try, said the boy. So that means Mali is not an easy guy. Like, he's a powerful character in his school. He might be. That's what he said. Let them try. Because that's not a possible task with Mali. Tell me what happened. Nothing, said the boy. I do not find it interesting. That's all. And he went on munching his food with his eyes down. So he did not respond that interestingly. So Jagan's son Mali tells him suddenly that he won't go to the college. He doesn't want to study. So Jagan was kind of shocked that he's having a serious problem and he wants to know the reason, but he could not get any information from his son. Right? And he went munching his food with his eyes down. Jagan had never seen him so serious. The boy seemed to have suddenly grown up. He had never spoken before in this tone to his father. Jagan merely repeated, if it is something I can do, tell me. So now Jagan is kind of afraid also. He's afraid to mention the word class or college or talk him about this college matters. Is it correct to talk and all? So we can say that Jagan is a kind of a cowardly father. A little bit of he's scared for his son. Right? I don't want to study. That's all. So the boy is now very strict and very serious. So this is the first time that Jagan sees his own son Mali so serious. So that means there is something behind this. It can we don't know, but even the readers doesn't know, because he exactly doesn't say what's stopping him to go to the college. The morning sun came through a glass tile and touched with the radiance the little heap of upma on his plate. So upma is representing Indian food, okay? A piece of green chili and some globules of oil made the stuff sparkle, catching Jagan's eyes insistently for a moment, making him wonder if we had made some strange edible gem set for his son rather than merely frying semolina and spicing it. Now Jagan is worried that he couldn't give a proper food. So Jagan is always spending his morning hours cooking for his son. So he started this after his wife's death, right? So he's now worried that whether Mali is satisfied with the food or not. So he was thinking for a moment that it would be better he cook some other best things. Gem set means like, the waistband we wear. That is called, waistband. That's not the food. Okay, that's not a food. It's the band that you wear for the waist. So young boys, the teen boys, you might have seen they wear colorful bands around their hands even nowadays. So he's thinking like, rather than making this upma and stuff, I could have make some waistband for him to wear and go outside. Shaking himself out of this fantasy, he said, "All right, I'll come to your college and speak to those people." The boy looked up angrily in his anxiety to communicate a new idea to his father. He had become brusque and aggressive. Now, father has said, "Don't worry, I'll come to the school and talk to those people. I think somebody's disturbing you." So the boy was like again kind of, puzzled, and he was not ready to talk further with the father because he feels like his father did not understand what he really means. So brusque means the boy, he has become sharp because now he's grown up, aggressive. He has become a little tempered. He's very serious. So these are the things that represent Mali's grown up character. This is really common in even in our day-to-day life. You can see that how a teen boy, especially, how teen boys behave with their parents when they are grown up. They totally forget what they have done, what the parents have done. And they think that they can do everything in their own. They think that they can stand alone. Similarly, the similar thoughts Mali also have got. He thinks that education will not work, right? Then, shaking himself out of his fantasy, he said, "All right, I'll come to your college." Yeah. His face was flushed so early in the morning, and the boy showing such a temper. Jagan reflected as if temper had an approved timetable. "All right, get on with your eating." So he saw that there was a little change in Mali's face. He was like little aggressive, he was a little temper, he was angry, and Jagan thought not to continue this, and he said, "All right, just leave it. Now you have your meal. We'll talk of these things later." So he said, "Son, we'll talk these things later. Now you concentrate on your food." He mumbled when he should have said, "Swallow your food and run off to your class." So, actually, what Jagan feels to say is quickly go to the school. Now it's your college has started, quickly eat like that. But he couldn't say that because the situation is not that favorable for those words. So, instead, he said, "Be calm and eat. We'll talk these things later." So, as a father, we can say in that place, Jagan is good. He understood the son's situation and he reacted according to that point, right? He was a cowardly father and felt afraid to mention class or college. I told you this point. He is very scared to say now. He said, "Run off to your class." That is his mind voice. He really wants to say that, but he couldn't say that because he is not cocksure that whether the son will be okay with the word class or college. Is he expecting the word college? The boy might scream at their mention or kick away his breakfast. So Jagan is scared that, Jagan is afraid that if he mentioned the word class, whether the boy will kick the food and go away. Jagan had an almost maternal obsession about the boy feeding properly. Maternal obsession means first of all, kind of stick to something. We get loved on something. Maternal obsession means the father's love. You know that when parents how they behave, if the children want to have their meal properly on time and everything to be finished up, what they do is they do something, they do whatever we want somehow that we have to eat and fill our stomach. So thinking Mali as a small kid still, Jagan doesn't want to turn Mali's mood bad because this is his meal time. He's concentrating on his son's health. So that is called maternal obsession. He's very much worried about his meal, his health condition. At home, he spent all his time cooking for his son. It had started when his wife had her first attack of brain fever and was taken to the hospital. Now you understand that Jagan spends all his time cooking for his son. As I told you, this started after Ambika's death. She had a brain fever. So even after Ambika's death, he continued cooking just because of his son, right? But that is a very unlucky part, like Mali doesn't actually like his father's cooking. When he was old enough to notice things, Mali had asked, Father, why don't you engage a cook? Now, see, all these years Mali was consuming Jagan's food, right? Whatever he cooked, only he consumed. But when he grew up, for an age that he understood certain things, he asked a question from Jagan, why don't you engage a cook? So Jagan says, I don't believe in engaging a cook. Mali asks, why not? Do we engage a servant to the breathing for us? Food is similar. Remember this quote. Mali is, we can say two things. Mali really doesn't like Jagan's food. Or as I can tell, Mali is highly loved and cared. I mean, like Mali cares for father, I can say. But it's not the point. Here in this story, it's not the point. It's actually Jagan who cares for Mali. He highly cares for Mali. That's why he doesn't really want to take outside food and give it. He wants to cook at home and give healthy food, right? He wants to be a shadow of a mother for Mali. He doesn't want his son to have consuming outside foods and spoil his health condition. So he's really concerning about that. Oh, father, father, the boy cried. Don't you engage cooks in your sweetmeat shop? So when Jagan said that I don't believe in engaging cooks and all, Mali was brilliant enough to say that why do you say so? You are engaging cooks in the shop also. Oh, that's different. It's like a factory and they are specialists and technicians, said Jagan, giving full rein to his imagination. So Jagan really doesn't want to take this topic because he doesn't want to directly tell that I am caring for you. He can't tell that because their relationship is not that strong and thick. So instead of saying that, he's trying to cover up that. He said, no, I'm not believing in engaging cooks and stuff. So if he's a person who is not really believing in engaging cooks and all, why does he want to take cooks for his shop? He can make it in his own hands, no? So that point was thought by Mali, but Jagan could not respond to it properly. So he somehow managed to say something and cover it up. The boy failed to grasp the distinction and cried desperately. So the boy could not identify the distinction. That means difference. What is the difference between taking a cook to the house and taking a cook to the shop? He couldn't identify that difference. And he cried desperately. That means little seriously he talked. I do not want you to cook for me. We have our college canteen. So Mali is heartless, unkind, and cruel. He doesn't understand what his father is really trying to do for him. What's the real motivation his father has? If he's really a good son, he would have understood that, okay, my father is trying to give some good food for me. He doesn't want me to have some outside food. He's not a lazy father. If he's not a caring father, he would easily take some food from the shop for the 3 meals of the day and he can stay restfully. But this boy did not understand that point. So, very desperately, very seriously, in a grave manner, he said, I do not want you to cook for me. We have our college canteen. So, it's just like comparing Jagan's food and the college canteen food. So, all this year, he grew up with his father's food. So, how all of a sudden he can change his mind to have some other food? And he says further, I can look after myself. I can look after myself. So those words are really so harsh for a parent, especially for a maternal parent who is trying to be a mother and a father at the same time. So at once when he says that, I don't want your food, I can look after myself, it's really harsh. He had stuck to it, relaxing his resolution only to the extent of accepting the breakfast made by Jagan. So, without any other option, he had to consume today's breakfast. The today's breakfast he somehow had to consume, right? The practice had continued, particularly after his wife's death. Jagan became obsessed with his son's diet. So obsessed means, he's filled, his mind is filled only only for concerning Mali's condition, only for concerning Mali's condition. So this happened after Ambika's death, because that father is trying to become a mother too, and brooded over the question night and day. So, see, I told you that father, those words of Mali were just words only, but he brooded day and night. Brooded means deep thinking. He thought it for a long time, and he deeply thought about Mali's words, what he uttered in the breakfast table. Because for a father, it was really unbearable for him. He couldn't tolerate those words. At night, before retiring, he held a long conference with his son on not only what he had eaten during the day, but what he would prefer to eat the next day. So he is now having a discussion. He thinks that son doesn't like his food, so he should change his cooking. And he's having a discussion about what to cook today night and what do you want tomorrow morning. See the concern. So usually this type of concern we get from our mother. If we didn't eat tonight today, she'll be worried and she'll ask, what do you want tomorrow morning? What should I cook for tomorrow night? What is preferable for you? They ask our preference because they want the children's happiness. That's the parents. The son cornered at his hour, answered in his usual manner of half syllables and clipped sentences, and the day would conclude with Jagan's exposition of his usual theories of nutrition. So, though Jagan was interested in going and talking to Mali about this matter of food, Mali did not want. He just went cornered means he went away from that place and answered in usual manner. Just he answered in half syllables and clipped sentences. That means this sentence is there half syllables and clipped sentence. That means if someone is uttering certain words for you without any much interest in a careless way, we call this as half syllables, clipped sentences. And the day would conclude with Jagan's exposition. That means Jagan's explanation, or exposition, another synonym is explanation. He talked with his son, but he did not get a proper response. So at last, he had to talk about his nutrition theories alone himself. And halfway through which Mali would turn away and bolt the door of his room, leaving Jagan with his unfinished sentence. So what do you understand? Jagan and Mali are not having a mutual understanding. They don't have a proper time to talk even. Though one person is ready, the other person is not ready to listen. Jagan, as a good person, he's trying to correct his mistake, what happened today morning. He knew that today morning my son did not like my food. He was not satisfied with what he had. So he thought to correct that mistake, and night he asked him, what do you want and what do I want to cook tomorrow? But that response was not good. Suppose in that situation, if they were having a proper discussion, if they had understood each other's mind, the problem will be, very smooth. They will be better father and son. But unfortunately, it did not happen because according to Mali, Jagan's character is already spoiled during his childhood itself. Right. So that's why it says Mali would turn away and bolt the door. That means fasten. Bolt means fastly you close the door. He quickly closed the door and he go away. He doesn't care. He doesn't care whether his father ate. He doesn't care what he's doing now. He doesn't mind about that. He just go away. He locked the door and he leaves Jagan alone outside the house. I mean, outside his room with unfinished sentences. Means still Jagan have not finished his discussion. So what will Jagan do? Just imagine these things. How a son closed the door and just go away without caring for father's words. Can we be like that? It's wrong. So as a father, Jagan also he has done a mistake. He should correct his son. He should be brave enough to go and stop that and explain him that what he's doing is wrong. So what instead of that, what he does is he would spend a few moments staring at the door. So like a small child expecting that my son would open now, now, now. But no, for a few moments he will be staring at the door. Then rise and unroll his mat in the open veranda in the second block and fall asleep before the gong at the taluk office sounded 9. After staring for some time, this poor man, he goes to the veranda and he put his mat and he sleeps. So only both of them are there at home, but still they don't have a proper relationship. So then he goes to sleep by 9 o'clock. Right? So this is how they spent the dinner time that day. This is how the father and son were behaving. Okay. Now he felt desperate to know what his son would do if he left the college, or rather the college canteen. He asked idiotically, "Where will you eat?" So see, now he's thinking, right, fine. You said that you're trying to stop your college. So then he's asking, right, if you stop the college, how are you going to eat? Because you said that we have our school canteen. So what do you understand? Now, desperate means like he felt desperate to know what his son would like. He's like eager to know. He wants to know what's really going to happen. Because what does it mean? Means like the bond between the father and the son is not that strong enough to be content. He could not even understand what, like, is the canteen only the place? No. He did not word canteen. Actually, it doesn't show that only the college canteen. Outside shops. His son smiled grimly and replied, "Why do you bother when you keep saying one need not eat?" Now see, it's boomerang. Always what Jagan says is, no need to eat this, no need to eat that. His nutrition philosophies is bringing up. So now son is telling, why are you worrying about my meal? You are the person who is always telling, no, don't eat this, don't eat that. Likewise. Right? Why do you bother? So that words are really harsh, direct words. So seriously, he's asking, why do you bother? He put on his yellow shirt, picked up his bicycle, and was off. So he was not even waiting for some seconds for a proper reply from his father. So he was just telling what he felt. He doesn't want what kind of a reaction his father has. He doesn't want whether Jagan is having his meal in the morning. But Jagan had the problem that whether how the son is going to have the meal. So he put his yellow shirt. So he R.K. Narayan is trying to bring up the visual imagery for the readers. So you have to imagine how he talks, how he takes his bag, how he wears a yellow t-shirt and he's going away from the bicycle. Jagan had to bottle up his confusions until the arrival of his cousin in the evening. So what you understand, Jagan consults his cousin because he is a person who visits the sweet shop daily. So he's bottle up. Bottle up means he's keeping all the problems, all the questions in his mind until the cousin arrived. "Come here," he cried the moment he sighted him, much to the bewilderment of the cousin, who wanted first of all to go through and try the sweets as they came out of the frying pan. So in the first chapter, we learn how the cousin goes to the kitchen and how he tastes the food, and then only he comes to the position of talking. So same way, like today also, he just did the same routine. But really saying means Jagan was really eager to talk with Kazim this day because he was really in a very big stress, right? So he quickly said, "Come here," as he saw. But the cousin actually he went to the kitchen and tasted. Then only he came. So he tried those sweetmeats as they came out of the frying pan. He flourished his arms as if to say, "Your banalities can wait," and passed on. Jagan saw him disappear into the kitchen with resignation. So Jagan so seriously, Jagan said that, "You come here, come here." But he was like saying, okay, right, wait, you can wait for me, no problem. I'll just come back again. Banalities means uninteresting stories. So you know that Jagan is usually talking uninteresting stories. So thought who this Kazin thought something is going to be like that. Today's topic also going to be like that, and he said, "You are uninteresting stories. They can wait for me," and passed on. He is bound to come out sooner or later. No one can stay long in all that heat and smoke. So Jagan understood, okay, fine. This guy will go inside and come soon. Anyway, nobody can stay in that cooking place and the smoke and stuff for a long time. Moreover, he will reach satiety soon with those sweets. So that means he knows that he will be satisfied. Satiety means that Kazin will be satisfied with the sweets. Whatever the sweets made there, he will be satisfied and he'll come out, he'll consume that. And while eating, he will come out. Market Road suddenly became alive with the shouts of the school children just left off. So you understand what kind of environment Malgudi is representing. A very busy environment, right? A few of them, satchels slung on their shoulders, stood as usual in front of the sweet mart gaping at the display beyond the glass. Jagan watched them from his seat without emotion. Now you understand Jagan without emotion, because he is not in a position of showing his emotion. Usually, you know how Jagan reacts when people are gathered and all. He says, "Move this side, send those people that side," like that. He's commanding that captain. But today, in the morning, when children are very busy, the market road was really alive. And satchels slung on their shoulders means satchels is another word for the school bags, okay? That not the bags today you can see. It's a different, those earlier days bags. So they put books inside that and they go to school. So these small children, they hang it and early in the morning come into the sweet shop, they buy some sweets and they make huge sounds and all those stuff. But even all this rush was going on, Jagan was just watching them and he was seated on his seat without showing any emotion, right? So he was like seeing all the children are struggling to buy sweets and stuff. He says that it's up to their parents to provide them with the money for sweets. I can't be handing out charity packets. He felt apologetic sitting there and collecting the cash, a vestige of conscience from his days of public service. So you know that small children eating sweets is not good for health, right? So that's why even Jagan, after Mali is grown up to a young boy, teen boy, he still cook at home and provide food because he's concerning about his son's health condition. But as I told you in first two chapters, Jagan is a little tricky businessman. So he says, why do I want to worry about these children? Their parents are giving them money, they buy these sweets and eat. So why do I want to worry? I can't give them charities and I can't say them not to eat this. So you understand what kind of a thought running in his mind as a businessman there. So little different. Jagan is kind of a different character and he's playing different roles in his uh, certain what we call that in certain portions of this novel, right? So he feels a vestige. What does that mean? Remained. He's kind of keeping a remainder, vestige of conscience from his days of public service. He's remembering earlier what he did as a public service, how he advised people, how he guided people, and how he helped the people. Those things comes to his mind, and he's becoming apologetic that he couldn't do these things now. He has to become selfish because he's a businessman. If the public could have joined and subscribed, he would have given away a portion of his profit in order to provide sweets for every child that gazed at his counter. So not every children they can afford to buy these sweets. There are some children who can't afford as well. So he's worrying about those children also who are little gazing and waiting. That's why he said this is not a charity house and we can't give charity packets. Though he is really worried about those children, and though he is a person who did public service, now he can't give that freely. So he says, suppose if the public support me, I will give a small portion of my profit. But this is a poor country. This is a poor country. So he's reminding about his country's economy now. I told how Jagan is really worried about this society, about the India's situation and all those stuff. This is a poor country. Per capita income is 3 annas. He's still stuck to the figure that he got out of a book called Poverty and Un-British Rule in India in his college days. Now he's reminding about his past things. But this figure restrained from him from demanding of every parent in the town that he spend 8 annas a day at his shop. Poor country, most people cannot afford even rice for 2 meals a day. When I ceased to be a merchant, but sugar cost 1 and 30 per kilogram, and flour and butter, real or fake, cost thrice as much. And what about the seasoning? Now, see, Jagan is thinking so deeply about the country's situation, and he really forgot about his problem as well. He was actually an emotionless person because of this Mali's work. But when he see all these things, he quickly went into this India's situation. He kind of he was not under control, but he tried to become control, and he stopped. Sugar is costing this much, flour and butter costing this much. Prices are increased, right? Nutmeg 70 paisa each. Market each. They used to be got in handfuls for the smallest coin, and what halwa would be worth its name if you did not crush a little nutmeg into it. So, have you heard that how your old parents, I mean grandparents and your parents tell earlier we bought this much of things for 5 rupee, we bought this much of things for 2 rupee, like that they say. So Jagan says nutmeg prices are increasing, and what is halwa without nutmeg? It's no point. So he's now there R.K. Narayan is trying to bring out some traditional sweets made in India as well. Okay, halwa, this upma and those stuffs and all, representing Indian culture, Indian tradition. When the cousin emerged from the kitchen, wiping his mouth with the towel, Jagan said, as a continuation of his thoughts on social problem, which for the moment swamped his private sorrows. I told you. Now he was really waiting for Cousin's presence, right? So Cousin, can you remember when he went to the kitchen what he said? Your boring stories can wait. Because he exactly know what he's trying to talk, always talking about Mahatma Gandhi or his Indian stuff and all those kind of nutrition and everything. So when he came out, he started with continuing his thought. All this time he was thinking from the mind only, and when Cousin came, he was like telling, see, will our country situation, see those children, like that he started to continue his talk, right? Do you realize how few ever really understand how fortunate they are in their circumstances? The cousin nodded a general approval, secretly puzzled as to what this profound thinker might be driving at. So this is really funny. He nodded his head. Cousin nodded his head, and he was really puzzled inside. What the hell is he talking about? What matter is he talking? All of a sudden, he said this. I didn't understand what he says even, and he's not at all interested to know what are you talking about. They all forgot or get used to things. That's the way of the world, he said, smacking his lips and stating the philosophy that could fit any circumstances. Especially young men, said Jagan. There are problems everywhere. I was reading a little while ago somewhere, and he tried to quote from some sort of a report on the youth of today, although he could not remember where he had read it or what it said. It takes one no now here, said the cousin sympathetically. So Jagan was talking about the youth, how the young people behave nowadays and how they were. And he's reminding what he read in some kind of a newspaper or magazine. And he tried to say that, and the cousin was like saying sympathetically, okay, right, this is fine. Now they will go, no, they will just leave this place, and you are also kind of getting free. His mind gloating over the memory of the sweets that he eaten. So Kazin is not in a position of talking about these problems. He's now enjoying the taste of the sweet. The conversation was proceeding smoothly. Thus, when Jagan said abruptly, Mali is displaying strange notions. Only now Jagan came to the point. all this time he was just talking about nonsense, right? So now Jagan came to the point that what he feels and what was the conflict between him and his son. So that is the main theme of this chapter. The conflict between the father and son is only discussed here. So now he's starting to tell his real problem, what is the stress going on, what kind of a confusion is going on in Jagan's mind related to Mali. So then only he started to tell to Kazin for a solution, asking for a solution, expecting for a solution. He's trying to just remove his burden in his mind, right? So he said that Mali is displaying strange notions. So that means he identified that there is a difference in his son's behavior and the way of the character, representing his character, his role. It's changing because you have to understand one point. Mali is grown up. He's not a little boy now, and he's a teenage. So Kazin opened his eyes widely to register the appropriate reaction. So you have to realize now the Kazin's character as well. 2020 paper, the Kazin's question was there, how to describe, right? So you know how Kazin is really a very cool man, that he went to kitchen, he had some sweets, he was not much interested in Jagan's talk when he was talking unwanted stuff. But can you understand, like when he started talking about Mali's matter, he widely opened his eyes to listen it very carefully. Not being certain how critical he could sound of Mali, Jagan explained. The cousin suddenly assumed a definite stand and said, "It would be best to know what the boy is thinking." So he's telling, I think you have to talk to him and understand what he is really thinking. Right? What is his thought? Why is he behaving like this? And Kazin further says, our educational methods being what they are today, you could always hit education if you had no other target. Okay, don't know whether he's willing to learn further or he's having any other plans in his education. Not that education is not what we learned earlier. This is different from that part, and he's explaining. He's taking Jagan in another angle, in a view, to view another angle, from another point of view. He's trying to take Jagan and he's trying to clear his path, right? So I was always hoping that he would be a graduate, and that's the best basic qualification one should have. Don't you think so? So what you understand, Jagan is dreaming a lot. Jagan added with a sigh, if I had passed the BA, I could have done so many other things. So this is the nature of parents. Whatever they could not achieve in their childhood, they are trying to bring it up from their children. They're expecting their children to do those. So he's expecting the basic qualification should be there, the BA qualification should be there, the graduate qualification. And he's worried that suppose if this boy stopped the college, everything will be flopped and he could not go to the future. But it was not to be, and yet what's lacking in your presence state. I had to leave the college when Gandhi ordered us to non-cooperate. I spent the best of my student years in prison. He's worrying about his past. He's worrying about what he has done, said Jagan, feeling heroic. So at the same time, he feels heroic. He feels like he has done something very vast that nowadays the teens cannot do. His reminiscential mood slurring over the fact that he had failed several times in the BA. So he knows that he has failed several times in the BA, and he's a little shy about that as well. At the same time, he's kind of feeling heroic. Ceased to attend the college and had begun to take his examinations as a private candidate long before the call of Gandhi. But what excuse can these boys have for refusing to study? Okay, we had these excuses. We went to the protest, we were following Gandhi's philosophies, we were doing this, we were doing that. So that's why I missed my BA. He's making reasons. He's telling that circumstance was not that comfortable. But he's asking a question, what's wrong with these boys? What's the problem they have? After all, we are providing everything to them. So why can't they just study and become a graduate and do the best in their life? That's a question for him. The cousin ever a man of caution. So caution means a man of understanding. You can take this quotation when you're explaining about cousin's role. Cousin ever a man of caution. Repeated. It's worth finding out from the boy himself. More than you are jabbering here alone, you go and ask from that boy. You can go and talk to him. Why didn't you have a talk with him? He's asking now. As a father, why couldn't you go and talk to your son? You could have asked him what's his problem, what's he's really expecting to do. Why don't you? Because Jagan is not able to talk with Mali. He's not a perfect father. He's a cowardly father, I told you. He have dreams for his son like the other fathers, but he's not brave enough to go and talk to him. Why don't you? Asked Jagan in a tone of pointless challenge and added sentimentally. Now he's telling, okay, you are asking why don't me, right? So why don't you? You can go and talk now. But he did not, he forgot one matter. What's the relationship between Mali and the cousin? It had no relationship. As you know, cousin is a friendly person with everyone. So Jagan says, why don't you? He's challenging. He has called you uncle ever since he could list the syllables. So he's saying from the day he can talk, he has called you uncle. So as an uncle, why don't you go and talk to him? He forgot that point. Then the uncle, father is the best relationship. The only person to whom I am not a cousin, said the gentleman, and both of them laughed. Because you can remember that the first chapter, which all that the cousin, the so-called cousin, is the cousin for everyone in the, that place. So cousin says now, I am the only person, like he's the only person, Mali is the only person that I can say I'm not his cousin because he's an uncle. The serious burden of life returning to Jagan presently, he said, you must do something about it and tell me tonight. So Jagan wants to get to know about the difference in Mali through the cousin's character. He directly doesn't want to go and talk to Mali and understand his problem and discuss and clear it out. He wants cousin to go and discuss it and tell what's actually happening, what's his mood, why is he doing this, why is he doing that. Right? At 10 o'clock that night, the cousin came up and knocked on the door softly. Jagan, for once, was awake after 9. The boy had retired and shut himself in his room without giving his father a chance to refer to the day's events. So what you understand here is both of them are not that talking. They don't have a good relationship. There is a barrier always. By 9 o'clock, Jagan is going to sleep, but before that, even Mali has gone to the room and shut the door. So how can they talk? One of the person should be ready enough to come in front and talk. If they talk only, they can have a solution for this. So at 10 o'clock, cousin came because that means cousin has talked to Mali something. Jagat had noticed the light burning in the room and resisted an impulse to peep through the keyhole. I wish you had peeped in. You'd have seen what he was doing, said the cousin. So it's really not nice, right? A father peeping into son's door and saying what he's doing is very ugly. So that's how Jagan also felt. But cousin says, I think you would have done that. You could have done that. Right? You could have done that, he's saying. It's not a correct thing. But still, as a father, as a parent, the parent should know what the child is doing, said the cousin, when they had stolen on tiptoe from Jagan's house, strolled down the road to the foot of the lowly statue, and settled comfortably on the granite platform there. Now they went out of the house and only they're talking about something, a matter. He's going to talk something related to Mali. The cool night air was blowing on their faces. Sir Frederick loomed over them aggressively, with his head amidst the stars. So that's about the statue. What do you mean? Said Jagan, leaning back in the shadow of Sir Frederick's purse. All kinds of morbid and terrifying speculations arose in Jagan's mind. Morbid means, some kind of uh, unpleasant things. Unpleasant things are coming to the mind now. What will this man tell? What will the cousin tell? Has Mali talked to him? What might have he tell? Like that, all the gloomy thoughts are coming now. Clear? So, what was the boy counterfeiting money or murdering someone? So he's scared now whether his son has done a murder. Is he scared of some other offense he has done? So he's asking the cousin now. Or has he taken some money from someone? Has he stolen money from someone? Is that why he's trying to refuse the college? Like that, thousand and thousand questions are coming to Jagan's head now. 100 evil possibilities occur to him. So see what can you understand from this point? So Jagan, actually, he's scaring his son. He's showing that maternal obsession. He's really scared. But has my son done a mistake? Is someone is blaming him at college? Is he mildly disturbed? As a good father, he's understanding that point, right? He gripped the other's wrist and commanded. So he quickly to hold the cousin's wrist and he commanded. He's telling, "You tell me what happened. Tell me everything without concealing anything. Don't hide me anything. Tell me everything what he told you." I'm just tensed, right? Don't keep any secrets. Concealing means don't keep any secrets. The cousin shook off the hold contemptuously because you know that Jagan held his hand. So he just shook off the hand and he started to tell now. He started to talk now. He is writing. That's all. He wants to be a writer. He wants to be a writer. Writer meant in Jagan's dictionary only one thing: a clerk. According to Jagan's dictionary, writer is a clerk. Jagan doesn't want Mali to be a clerk, right? A father never wants a son to become a clerk. An Anglo-Indian colonial term from the days when Macaulay had devised a system of education to provide a constant supply of clerical staff for the East India Company. So this is a little history about how the clerks arose. Jagan fell aghast. So Jagan again felt surprised. Here, was he trying to shape the boy into an aristocrat with a bicycle, college life, striped shirts, and everything? And he wanted to be a writer. Strange. Why don't he want to be a writer? Sorry, why does he want to be a writer? He asked. So Kazin is like asking, why are you sending that boy with this college life, bicycle, and striped shirts? He doesn't want that. He wants to become a writer. So now it's very strange that he really wants to become a writer. What brought him that thought? So Jagan's question is that, why does he want to be a writer? I don't know. Cousin said, I don't know. You will have to ask him. Everything the cousin can't go and ask. He can just communicate only. He can't go and peep into his privacy. So Jagan asked, where does he want to work? It's degrading, he cried. After all the troubles I have taken to build up a reputation and a status. He beat his brow in despair. So Jagan is little worried. He is not happy. He is not happy about his son's ambition. He doesn't want him to become a writer. So he's asking, after all, I'm spending this much, I'm doing this much, I'm trying to build up a reputation for him. I'm trying to build up a good status for him. So why he's doing all these things? His beat up means that we saying, why? Why is this? What's wrong with him? Like that kind of reaction. It never occurred to the cousin that Jagan had misunderstood the word writer. So the cousin did not identify that Jagan has identified the word writer mistakenly as a clerk. He said, I lost no time after you told me this evening to go out in search of the boy. I waited at the college gate. Oh, Did he go to his college after all? Cried Jagan ecstatically, concluding that he must have eaten in the canteen. So, what you understand here, now Jagan is again concerned about Mali's breakfast. Mali's breakfast. So, this cousin is really a good character. He stayed in the college gate, near the college gate, until Mali comes because Jagan, his friend Jagan, said that go and discuss with my son. So he stayed there, he discussed all matters, and he came and said that also. But he did not have any time to further discussion. So when that word college gate comes, Jagan was shocked that, oh my God, he went to the college. So he's really happy about that. So he must have eaten in the canteen. See how poor this father. He must have eaten in the canteen. Even at that point, he's thinking about the health condition. How is he have he consumed food? Yes, replied the cousin. It was only a farewell visit. I saw him come out with a gang of friends who patted his back and shook his hand and did all sort of things. So that means Mali is grown up. A couple of teachers came out, looked at him, and said something. I heard him say, my father has other plans. Probably he's sending me to America. Oh my God, what do you understand? He's boasting himself among the people he see. He's boasting that his father is trying to send him America. So Kazin speaks to Mali that night or that day, and he found that Mali wants to become a writer. So that's why Kazim came to visit Jagan and say everything, right? But what the son says, my father has other plans. Probably he's sending me to America, right? So what you understand now, the son really wants to go to America. That's why he's trying to save from some kind of illusions he's making himself, and he's making stories himself, and he's telling that to his friends and people around. Ah, Jagan exclaimed, what what will America? America indeed. Don't be hasty, said the cousin slowly. He had to tell them something before leaving. Until he demands to be sent to America, don't take any notice of it. So what you can understand now, like, son really wants to go to America, right? He wants to go to America because he really wants to become a writer. So Jagan feels happy and he says, oh, how stupid, like, how didn't I understand this matter? Is he really trying to go to America? But what is he going to go there and do? What's his real plan of going America and doing that? So he was little late to understand that he really wants to become a writer, and he's having some hope to go there and improve that part. All sorts of ideas, all sorts of ideas. Jagan cried helplessly, tapping his fingers on the granite. So he's like confused and he's thinking, okay, what's going on? Mali wants to go to America. And he lies to his friends that I am the person who is trying to send. Well, he may become a second Bharati or Tagore or Shakespeare someday. So Jagan is having high hopes about Mali. Jagan has high hopes about Mali. How can you judge now? Said the cousin. Cousin is now motivating him in the correct path. No, 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 stop, stop. You can't imagine like that. You can't say that he's becoming a Bharati. You can't say he's becoming a Tagore or Shakespeare. How can you judge him? And now how can you judge him? No way. The truth finally dawned on Jagan. How stupid am I? Yes, of course, writer. I know. Now you understand. Just now only Jagan understood what a writer means. All this time he was worried that his son is going to become a clerk. I know I have become illiterate. I think illiterate means not much educated. Not much educated, he's thinking. I think he cried happily. It was a great relief that the son was not attempting to be the other sort. Other sort means clerk. He's now happy. He feels little relaxed. Oh, thank God. I thought he's going to become a clerk. Of course, it's a writer, right? Okay, that's fine. It's a writer. So Kazin, luckily, that Kazin's role helped to understand the misunderstanding between the father and son. So you think how many misunderstanding might be there like this? Because of this involvement of cousin, this was cleared. But if suppose the cousin was not there, always he might be thinking something else. So you understood that cousin also did not understand. Jagan was thinking right as a clerk. So now cousin is telling, what else did you think? Cousin asked and added, I have heard writers earn a lot of money nowadays. They became famous. What does he want to write? I don't know. Poetry? Perhaps. Easiest to start with those stories. What else do people write? Said the cousin, not wanting to flounder in unknown seas. He doesn't want to talk unknown matters. You know how the cousin is, right? Only the important things he talk. So when they were now guessing, okay, right, what is Mali going to write? Is it something like poetry stories? I think it's a better way to start. And after that, cousin is Jagan is asking the cousin, what else do people write? So Kazina, so and they were not much interested to talk much about that also because they don't have real idea about what they are writing and all. Actually, it was difficult to get even that out of him. I met him at school. College, corrected Jagan. Now he is proud enough to say that his son is going to the college. When the cousin said that, I went to the school, he corrected, no, say college. Say college. My son is going to the college. He felt somewhat, picked. Picked means like proud and he's enough. He have understood now why even Mali doesn't like saying school or class. The better word is college, he says. Yes, yes, I mean college. I always think of Mali as a little fellow, and it's very difficult to remember that he is no longer a mere schoolboy. So for this cousin also, he can't like believe that Mali is this much grown up. Quickly he grew up in front of them. At his college gate, when the teachers left him, he saw me and stopped to ask what had brought me there. So, what you understand, Mali is not a bad guy. He talked very good with this boy, cousin. He stopped and he asked. So, that shows how he respect cousin. I didn't want to seem officious and so said something and then asked if he would come for a cup of coffee somewhere. So, cousin didn't want to seem officious. That means he didn't want to show that he has come to a work or he doesn't want to show any authority, a power. He just asked, no, I just came. Shall we have a coffee? Not just coffee, he said. I want a lot to eat as well. So those words are showing usually we are talking this kind of words with friendly people. When we go to a relative's house, just think two types of relatives. Let's take one relative is so close, one is little bit close. When we go to that little bit close people, how do we react? If they ask, do you want something? Ah, no, it's okay, thanks. Doesn't want, like that we say. But when we go to a very friendly place, yeah, yeah, I want this, I want that, I want this. Like that, we continuously we talk just for fun. So that's how the cousin and the relationship between the cousin and Mali is like. They are so friendly, not like Jagan and Mali. They talk very friendly and they talk for a long time. They discuss certain matters, right? Poor boy. He must have been starving, cried Jagan. So because Jagan is always worried, as from the beginning of the chapter we saw that meal matter was a little problem. He was really worried whether his son had food, didn't have, or something like that. So when the cousin told these words, he thought the son might be starving. It's not the truth. If he's hungry, he knows to eat. He's a grown-up boy. He might have said these words just for fun, to have a fun with the cousin. But for Jagan's point of view, he sees like the poor boy starving. Not necessarily, said the cousin. Young men eat and still wish to eat a lot more, right? So cousin looks in a different angle. He said, no, no, not because of that. He might have had food, right? Small boys, young boys, they are growing, they are tired, they always eat and stuff. So he might be just telling that. So what you understand, the view from the Jagan, view from a cousin is totally different. They look in two different points, negative and positive kind of. So cousin is a person who is bringing Jagan to a broad way and explaining him certain things. Certainly, cried Jagan. What is there to prevent his eating much as he likes and all at hours of the day. Okay, let him eat all the hours. He's a good boy. He have to eat that. So Kazin is the person who is revealing Mali is crazy and he's trying to, become a writer, crazy on writing. Okay. So Jagan, he decides to talk to Kazin related to these Mali's matters because he's really interested to know about what Mali is actually planning to do in future, right? So that's the flow of the uh, chapter. Do you leave enough cash with him? Of course I do, said Jagan. So now cousin is asking, do you give him money and all stuff? Yeah, I do. Did he say anything about it? Oh, no, cried the cousin. He is not that sort of young man. Even if you starved him and denied him everything, he had never complained. So see, Mali have never complained the cousin about this starving matters and all. My father have not given food and all stuff. Not like that, right? He just asked friendlily, like, are you giving money to this boy? Because young boys, they like to have pocket money. Jagan felt proud at this encomiums heaped on his son. So he's like, wow, my son did not talk wrong about me. He did not tell anything bad about me. He feels little proud about that, right? Encomiums means yeah, that kind of a very formal way of expressing our praises. A son, a son is talking good of father, talking actually not talking good here. Did not talk bad. That's the matter actually. So he felt proud a little, right? He remained thoughtful while the stars in the sky paused in their courses. Now you have to imagine this setting as well. This is a night time at 10 o'clock. They have come out and they're discussing Mali's matters. A couple of dogs trotted in a chase. The vagrant stirred in his sleep, muttering to himself on the other side of the statue. So you know how the vagrants, they are just, muttering this and that and they are sleeping. Dogs are howling and those kind of things are happening now. So you have to take those sound, the auditory imagery and the visual imagery should be there. Disgraceful that our nation cannot attack this problem of vagrants. Must do something about it when I find the time. Jagan thinks about the nation, the national problem. He's even in a big problem now, and he's thinking about the problem of the country. He can't even solve his own problem between his son's relationship, and he's trying to tell that if he finds some time, he's going to solve the country's problem also. So see this, the cousin ignored this larger social problem because cousin knows that it's not practical, right? It's just only words. Nobody can do those stuff. Like our problems are even bigger for us. How can we solve those things? So cousin is a person who is really having a good point of view. He's really thinking practically. So he doesn't want to involve in these problems and just waste his time. I took him to Anand Bhavan. You know that place, right? The loudspeaker deafening you all the time. So he's telling now, after taking Mali from college, they went to Anand Bhavan. Jagan implored, I want to hear nothing about the Anand Bhavan restaurant. Tell me about the boy, please. So Jagan is now very interested about Mali stuffs. Yes, be patient. I know you don't like the Anand Bhavan people. I know they try to blackmail you with the sales tax. Oh, please, stick to the point. I don't care what they do or did. Tell me what the boy said. Was he unhappy? Was he unhappy? Yes and no. Happy that he was going to be free to be a writer. Unhappy that you should accept him to study at the college. The college. So Jagan completed the sentence. So when Cousin said about this Anandaban story, Jagan was not interested to talk about that. He said, please tell me about my boy. And when he was continuing saying that whether he was happy or unhappy, Cousin said he's happy, of course, about this writing thing, but he's unhappy that you are telling him to go to that. And he stopped because he's not quite sure whether to use the word college or class. So Jagan completed the college, almost afraid lest the man should blunder into saying school again because he doesn't want to hear Cousin saying school again. Blunder means doesn't want to make a big mistake. Doesn't want the cousin to make a big mistake. The cousin took the hint and said, college, college, and of course, college. Now, okay, no, are you happy like that? The very word drives him crazy. Although you like it so much, he hates his lesson. He hates his syllabus and all his books. Jagan, you might like the word college. You might be very proud of saying college, and you might be proud enough to say, my son is going to college. But you have to understand one point. He is not happy about that. He doesn't like his syllabus. He doesn't like his books. He doesn't like his lesson. Right? He doesn't like these things. He's not interested in these things. The very thought infuriates him. That means, infuriates means making somebody, or we can say making something very angry. So these things will make Mali angry. Infuriates means making angry. Do you know what he did? Do you know what he did? He had his class books in his hand. I had ordered doses for him, and we were waiting. He suddenly tore up the pages of his book savagely, beckoned an attendant, and said, put this in the fire in the kitchen. So that means Mali might be stressing on something. This education might be kind of a stress for him. Mali has been, he's hating learning. All of a sudden, savagely means all of a sudden, like without it, he was always normal, and suddenly he showed a reaction like this. I ordered dosa and just waited for some time. He quickly took all the books and he tore them, and he said, put them in the fire. So what you understand that, like, Mali is kind of stressed with education. He doesn't want to learn. He hates it. So this chapter is talking about the conflict between the father and son, and how how their ideas are different from each other. How Mali has grown up. What are the changes he has shown when he's growing up like this, and what kind of a relationship is what kind of a good relationship is there between Kazin and Mali and those stuffs. Is it clear?